Good day, folks. It's DIY Guy 123 here. Today we're installing a Curtis hitch in a what is this thing? A GLK250, Mercedes GLK250. Now it comes with a really colorful set of instructions. The instructions are like, they really look colorful, but the problem is the vehicle they worked on was black underneath, like lots of all the parts underneath every car, and you can't really tell a lot of detail in the pictures. So, you know, it's like there were shadows or what, almost illustrations might be even better because the pictures just aren't, you just can't see enough of a black part on black. Anyway, so I thought I'd just show you how this goes together. Now, to remove this, start this procedure, you've got to release the little bracket clips right here. So to do that, you stick a screwdriver, a flat screwdriver in there, pry the center part out, and then remove the whole thing, and that will allow this piece to release from this piece so that they separate. You need that so you can push these back, and then when you need to take 6 of these out on the underneath, 3 on each side. Once you do that, you get access to these stainless Torx bolts. They're a T40 bolt, 1, 2, 3 of them. Real kind of a, not too bad to get them off when the hitch isn't in place, but after the hitch is installed, these two are kind of a nuisance, the 2 center ones. So basically, that allows this to come out. Get a flat screwdriver and pry out these 6 little trim doodad things. They're trim holder upper things right there. So basically you pry them out where my fingers are right now, and a pin pops out, and then this whole thing comes out. There's 6. There's 1 on the outside of the exhaust, and then there are 2 on the inside, and that's the same on both sides. So you get those out, and then you take out this this fancy dance. The very next thing, I guess, is to lower the exhaust. Now this exhaust has an obscene number of exhaust hangers. It's got 2 on each of these muffler ends here, 1 there and 1 there. And so that's 4. And then it's got 2 more in the middle of the vehicle right underneath the rear differential. And so they all have to come out of there. Now they're very robust, I will say that. I've not used, or I've not had to mess with exhaust hangers like that before. And they're very high quality, but on the downside, they're extremely rigid and hard to get out. Now I have a tool for taking those out. Now this is a tool made by Lyle. I bought it off of Amazon, paid like 20 bucks for it. I thought, oh, I might use that twice in my life. I bought it 4 months ago, and I don't know what it would take for someone to buy this from me now. It'd be a lot for me to give this up. But anyway, the way it works is, you open it up, and the part that's in the center of the camera right now, that goes on the metal tip, and this forked part goes behind it, and you basically just squeeze the metal, squeeze this out of there. Now you can certainly get muffler clamps off without a fancy tool. I did it for 25 years and then got smart and bought the tool. So anyway, basically you take those off. Now, to prevent the rest of the exhaust from getting stressed, because basically it's suspended, all this big heavy resonator-y things and all this is suspended, I took a board and put it across here. Obviously I've got the luxury of a hoist right now, and maybe not everyone will have that. This certainly can be done lying on the ground if you put the vehicle up on ramps, or jack it up. Just make sure you do it safely. I am privileged enough to have the hoist for today, I guess. So the next thing is you slide the, I'll zoom out a bit here because this is probably hard to see. You slide the, you slide this big hitch bracket. It kind of goes up and under like that, and it goes above these plastic things. Now the instructions say that you have to drill out a spot here so that you can get a socket in. The picture was so bad I couldn't tell what they meant, but I figured as soon as I put this up, I'll realize if I need to drill something out. And sure enough, one of the bolts you cannot get a socket on to put it in unless you drill out a piece of plastic. It looked like this, and I drilled it out to look like that, and now I can get the socket up there to get the to get that tightened. I actually had to put the washer in first, then the bolt up through this hole all the way up, and then I could get a socket up in there, tighten it in. Now, I guess I'm not going to take it apart to show you, but there's a, I wonder if I can show you some other way. Let's see if I can get in position here. Okay. So On the bottom of this hitch bracket, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And they have these washers that are not a flat washer, they're a canonical washer, and they actually have teeth on them, not the surface that you can see from the camera, but the upper surface that I'm touching right now, they have teeth that will bite in, and it's like a lock washer. Now, if you look up there, you'll follow those bolts up. You'll see the bolts screw into a plate. Well, there are 2 bolts visible right there on this side of the plate, and then on the other side, over here, that's the other side of the plate, and you can see the other 2 bolts. So that's how those bolts go together. So you get all 4 bolts on each side in, so 4 there, 4 there, and then they want you to put this, they call it a strap, and basically there are 2 carriage bolts that drop in here. So they're facing down, and you hold the strap up to them, and you turn on the 2 nuts. So that kind of helps you hold it. And then this is the part that I really don't like. Everything was going great until now. So here's the strap. Hooks on there, comes along, goes up. Now right in front of the rear wishbone, this bracket is part of the strap. This bracket is part of the strap. These 2 are welded together, and they want you to put the 4 bolts through here. Now 2 of the bolts go through the center of the wishbone, 2 of the bolts go underneath the wishbone. That's all cool. Those bolts go into a bracket here that's got threaded nuts welded to it. That's also tray cool. Very cool. No problem. But if you look at the bottom 2 bolts, that's great. There's like 3/4 of an inch clearance between the end of that bolt and this $1 million differential case. But if you look at the top bolt up there, and I'm not sure if the camera will pick this up, there would be less than 3/16 of an inch between the end of that bolt and that differential cover. And on this side, there's more, but still not enough for me to be happy about that. If everything stays right where it is now, there should never be an interference problem. But if that bushing right there wears, that's the bushing that holds the wishbone and the differential together. If that wears, or there's a bit of extra torque on the differential, which there always is every time you step on the gas, or if some of these other parts move around a little bit because they wear, that bolt right there could come in contact with the case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to back that top right bolt. Actually, both top bolts are coming out of there, and I'm going to put lock washers between the bolt head and the conical washer that's there. Now, my biggest complaint is these rear bolts are torqued to 110 foot-pounds, it says. I just felt like I was going to crush that cross member, so I took it to 90 and stopped there. They are all lock washers on there, so that they should be fine and not back out. But look, I want to point out again, that bolt that I was very concerned about, after I torqued it up to 90, even not even the 110 that was in the manual, there's only 1/4 of an inch gap between that bolt and that rear case. And look, I had to stack, even to get that, I had to stack 4 lock washers on that side. It's absolutely, if those 4 washers weren't there, and I had torqued that bolt all the way, that bolt would be right in the case. I don't know what's going on there, whether they, I mean, I think they might have sent me the bolts that were too long, except I measured them and they're as per the manual, 2 3/4 inches back here. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, I'm glad I noticed that, because it would have been a total catastrophe if that bolt had gone through the case. So, okay, so I've got these all torqued up. I've got the front ones torqued, or sorry, the ones right around the rear bumper or the rear subframe. They're done. These ones are done. And back here, you're gonna, after you do that, raise the exhaust back into position and put those exhaust hangers back on, and then put the 3 exhaust tips back on and the fascia clips. And then you are done. That's it to putting the hitch on. It looks pretty good. I don't think it's gonna be too low to the ground or anything. But anyway, I guess it depends on what kind of driving you do. Well, that's it for me. If you like my video, please subscribe, and good luck with your do-it-yourself project.